guys. Hello. Welcome, everybody. It's time to check all our minds, okay? Not just y'all's, but mine's too. Because when I get on here, I get my mind right at the same time. So welcome, everyone, to the Thursday night call. So last week we talked about signing people and asking more people to join the business. So I guess we can start there and we can kind of go from there. Yeah, I got paid. We got paid. So that's a whole nother thing too. Who want to go first? And don't make me pull no teeth this week, because last week I wanted to throw some at y'all. Nobody wants to.
I go first. So, yeah, we talked about asking more people. And one of the things that had kind of got in my way of prospecting was I was just tired of the people that I was talking to with this lack mentality, and it was frustrating me. And so that was taking over. Yeah, it was just, and I had to, check myself and just realize that I wasn't in the most accepting place when the opportunity was presented to me as well. And just going back to the place that I was when I started. And so just extending that grace to them coming from that position. And so I did reach out to a number of distributors. Like, we even sat on a Zoom and I reached out to 94 people one day. But anyways, I have a newbie on here. Juanita is my newbie. So I hadn't enrolled a distributor since the first week. And that's not normal for me. And so, just realizing that there is a block. Sometimes, and I was going to talk about this later, but sometimes we can remove the feelings from the actual task and the work, because I've done a very well job of being able to remove my feelings from that. But when it comes to coaching and mentoring and stuff, that's something that I'm working on. And as I'm allowing Rachel to groom me into a leader, actually, I'm realizing that the areas that I need to work on when it comes to coaching. So.
I'm gonna go really quick. Can you hear me? Sorry, Juana's playing in the background, but listen, y'all right. I wasn't on last week, but I could only imagine the conversation and how I've had to check myself when it comes to distributor enrollmentship. And I think the first thing is, and I think this is even reminded on the journey of faith and your relationship with God, is like reminding myself of what I know the business does for me, and how the business how it's affected me and everything that I've gained and how good the business is. And so, putting myself in that position where I'm reminding myself of that often, and what that does is just draws my confidence when I'm prospecting. That it's almost like, and hopefully this comes out the right way, it's like, not that I'm not thinking about the prospect, but going into it like I'm doing you a favor, really, by being here and sharing it with you. And being willing to have that type of confidence, and being willing to say things like, okay, what do you need for you to start today? My position is, and so I have to remind myself and check myself, like, okay, do I believe in what I'm doing? And if you feel like if your belief is not growing, then it's dropping. And so, and that's what I had to remember, like making it grow, but not so much. It doesn't always have to grow with promotion by promotion. It shouldn't take a promotion for your belief to grow within your business. And so that was one thing. And then also me just not getting weary in the things that I know work. And so, I reached out to Brittany today. And the reason I reached out to Brittany, because I know she's been successful with Host to Post. And I haven't been as successful as I should be. And it's not because it doesn't work. And so I said, I'm going to put myself in a place where I can be held accountable by someone who I know is thriving at it. And so I noticed, like, with the opportunity Host to Post, I just was like, this is stupid. It's like nobody's commenting, and everybody just wants to work for a telemarketing company, and that's so I was getting weary in that, but I noticed through this week, it's just like I have to keep doing the same thing instead of thinking I gotta switch stuff up. Right. So all week it's been the same thing, and so my ability to close them have just been more simple, instead of me trying to think what I need to do different to get them to say yes this time, when it's like what I have been doing has worked. And so don't be so focused on changing it, but just more of what I was doing that I know that works. So I don't need a new plan. I just gotta just work the plan. So I got a lot of conversations going on. I have signed distributors this month, and good ones who are doing the launch pad. Yes. Okay, I'm done.
That's good. Anybody got nothing for that? You know, what does it mean to be where? What do you think your business would look like if you were where you wanted to be? More serving by your distributors or you? Thanks for sharing, Karen. What would it look like? People coming in and getting what they came for. What do you guys do when you guys experience pushback? And could it be that how you respond to pushback is a direct correlation as to why your business is where it is right now? I had somebody 2 days ago who signed up. I didn't know her. She signed up from a host to host. And she was like, well, I don't think this is for me. And I was like, you ain't did nothing. Like, can't, but I'm okay with saying that. Well, yeah, I say that. Hey, you haven't done anything. Like, what makes you think that? Like, what makes you think it's not for you and you haven't done anything? Are you okay with saying that? Or you be like, oh, well, I guess it's not for her.
I think I would say that, but like maybe not in that way. I would try to put like a positive spin on like, oh, well, why do you think it's not for you? What's going on? And I would try to do an analysis or something. I'm a little less, I like go around the corner. I'm kind of like a crab. I walk sideways instead of just directly at you.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep. And you know what happens when you beat around the bush?
You don't get anything done.
They walk around the bush and then you piss because they walk around the bush, but you wouldn't just be straight up. You know, I was talking, Brianna and I, we went on it was more bold on Renee. Yeah, I agree. So Brianna and I, we were talking about this during the walk, and I was like, here's the thing, y'all. Like, straight up, COVID, no COVID, quarantine, no quarantine, people are spending their money still. Okay, they're spending their money still. You cannot, as a business owner, you cannot think like a consumer. You're not allowed to count anybody's money. People will spend money on whatever they want to. This could be their last unemployment check, and I bet you if they want it, they'll find the money. If somebody does not want to do the loyal customer agreement, what should you say? Sweetie, it's $65 for retail. How you want to pay for it? Like, you don't get to let them tell you no. It's okay. You don't have to do the loyal customer program. You can get it for retail price and do a one-time order. Beautiful. Lately, I feel that I have just been keeping it real and speaking my mind. I love that. So let's talk about this mental block, because for real, because it goes back to what Keisha was saying, or was really Keisha, one of you guys, when y'all was talking about belief. Like it's a belief factor here. It was Keisha. If you don't believe, that's the problem. And you can't base your belief off your own results. That's the problem right there. Is your belief based on your own results? If they are, that's an epic fail. That's like me believing I can go to the Olympics based on the race that I just won. It's like I'm a swimmer and I'm starting to get better. And I'm like, well, if I win this race, I can go to the Olympics. Baby, you ain't never been to the Olympics. You don't know what it takes. But I bet you if you keep looking forward to the people who are at the Olympics and keep showing up and keep getting better and keep going to practice, guess where you can be? The Olympics. How do you base your belief off the Olympics off yourself when you've never been to the Olympics? How do you base your belief on being an Ambassador Diamond and believing if you can do it or not when you've never been there? I don't feel like, let me tell you guys, like, I don't, it's not my job to tell you how to find the money to sign up. It's my job to help you make money. We talked about that last week. And the only way that I can help you make money is if I look at things from a perspective, like I have to look at the big picture. I have to be a big picture person. You want to make fast cash? Sell samples. Talk to as many people as you have to. And honestly, we don't really got to help you figure that out. That's easy. If you want to make some money, you're going to make it. Did nobody teach me how to sell a wrap? I just was like, hey, listen, this wrap tone tightening firm, $25. What's up? I'm for real. That was it. It's $25. What's up? Wait, can I come wrap you tomorrow at 8? Yeah, okay, I'll be there. Money first, then wrap. That was it. So what's up? Like, are we? A song came to my mind. Y'all wanna know what song it was? I'm a hustler, baby. Oh, I just want you to know. Oh, it ain't where I've been. Oh, but where I'm about to go. Yes, okay. But I'm just saying, like, has everybody lost their hustle, like, muscle? Like, what's up? Where is the inner drive? Brittany do be hype every time. Hi, Faye. Welcome. Hello? Okay, I think she's unmuted on accident. So, let's talk about this. If you are an Olympic swimmer before you become an Olympic swimmer, because that's it, I'm sure Phelps saw himself at the Olympics before he was at the Olympics. And every day he showed up at practice, he was an Olympic swimmer until he was. So if you are an Ambassador Diamond, right, or you're a diamond, or you're a ruby, or you have residual income coming into your household, and you're showing up as that person, solution focused, knowing what it is, keeping the main thing the main thing. I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is just signing customers and signing distributors, and you're doing whatever it takes in order to do those two things. That's it. You're doing whatever it takes to sign customers and distributors. It help people win. Because understanding that helping people win is how you make the money. So, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, she has, for real. Brittany always she been holding me down forever, for real. Hey, Delilah girl. So, who got some? help you guys get out of it, like for real. Who's that? Oh, she just, I don't think. Hey. Okay, I think we have a lot of newbies on. Okay. How can I help you snap out of it?
I'll say something. Because it's actually something even in the 6 years and even making it to Triple Down is something that I've struggled with. And I just recently realized, well, not recently realized, but been able to really prove to myself that, first of all, if you can have the confidence, and if you don't completely have the confidence, you got to find it in somebody else. So hopefully you can with your upline. To actually, oh, I'm tired, Jesus. To actually put in the effort to invite people to this opportunity. And then you got to understand that not everybody is going to want this opportunity. It's not going to be for everybody. And you have to be okay with that. But then you got to keep going. So I know for me, just realizing that I would get stuck in, oh, well, I'm just going to sign all these customers because that's where I'm comfortable at. And that just comes, because I love the product so much. But then lacking the confidence that I can actually lead someone to be successful in this business. So just recently getting out of that. And even like with this month, I know the biggest focus been bringing in new people. And it's like you put in the work and you don't see it coming. But you persevere through that, because the thing is, even farmers, they have to put in work to the land before they can plant seeds. So what is your network like? You know what I'm saying? And then, are you willing to plant those seeds? Are you willing to water those seeds? And then, I'm so out of breath. And then are you willing to be patient? So I know our mantra is be brave, be patient, be consistent. Are you willing to be all of those for the harvest to come? And the crazy thing is, people think that the hard part is planting the seeds and getting your network together, but the hard part is the harvest, when those distributors do come. Like, are you prepared as a leader to even mentor and guide them? Because I know one thing for me, what I've realized over the last couple months, like, just the leadership is it's a hard job. You got people pointing their fingers at you, expecting certain things, like, and it's and it can be hard. So are you preparing yourself to even be the leader that you desire, for God to even bless you with the team? So, it just goes back to being brave, actually getting out there, talking to people, having the confidence that you can do it, being patient while you're watering those seeds, while they're growing in the dirt, because it starts in the ground where you can't even see it before something sprouts out. So are you being patient? And then, what did I say? Being consistent. Yeah, that right there. So hopefully y'all understood that through all this hard breathing.
I was thinking that sometimes when it comes to like that, being in that hustle mode, that I think as humans we do a good job at removing ourselves away too far from where our reality is. And so sometimes it's important to remember where you are, the real about it. And like, if you can be real about, like, man, I really couldn't pay this, or I really was struggling to do this, not to bring you down, but as a way to say, to be that constant fire that you need, because that's a place from within. And so, but I think sometimes we just have a way of coping so well, just coping so well where it's not really that bad, you know what I mean? And again, it's not to be speaking negative, but sometimes it's important to know where I'm going to say the words know where I am, so that I can pull from that to know where I need to be and the amount of hustle that it's going to take. And so if I'm coping so well where I'm so away from my reality, where it pulls away from my hustle, if that makes sense. It's like sometimes, like, to know you can't afford, let's say you can't afford food, like, you may need to go hungry a day. But if there's keep, oh, okay, it's fine. Like I'll just keep getting food from, this place keeps giving me free food. So it's really not that bad. And so we find ourselves saying not that bad. And again, it's not a way to think of your situation as being negative, but sometimes it's good to take a moment to sit in your reality and in a way where you can pull from that. That's where your hustle comes from. Because usually when you hear of people having hustle, you also hear this great story, that they've been so connected with. One person who comes to mind, like so randomly, is like Puff Daddy, right? I don't even like follow him like that. But when you hear his story, you always hear something that was connected to him, what that drove his hustle all the way through. And so for me or for us, it's like, are we connected with like why we really need to hustle? Like hustle really ain't an option. It's like, if that makes sense, where how can I sit in my reality enough not to soak in it, but to know where I am and let me draw from that as my inner motivation that hustle is not an option.
That's so good, Keish, because like you said, draw from it, but not soak there, because you can sit there and be there to where you feel like you don't believe that you can get to where you want to go. So you need to realize where you are, but then you need to believe that you're going to get to the other side. So that's something too. The belief, like it really goes back to the belief. One time I remember something that really struck, I think it was like the first aha, the first click. Rachel was like, you got to believe that you can, like Toya was saying, you got to believe that you can help somebody make some money. That's your problem. You don't believe that you can help somebody make some money. And so once I realized that I could help somebody make some money, it's like, who want to make some money? Like, because I can help you. I can help you. But do you want my help? And so.
Hey y'all. So the other day I pulled out all of my charts. I think I got them on my bed. I pulled out 3 Ruby charts. I printed them out. I got 3 Ruby charts. I got 3 Emerald charts. I got 3 Diamond charts. So for me, it's just getting my mind right. I want to think about Diamond so that I can get there. And I'm thinking about how can I move the next DT that I had signed up to the next level. How can I get them to promote to Ruby? How can I get them to promote to Emerald, to Diamond? So for me, it's just getting my mind right and to try to get that in my head, like, you can do this. Like, I literally have to have a talk with myself every day to keep going. And it really helps, and so does the meetings.
So I remember when Brittany was sharing her story, and she used to say how when she first got here, she would show up for everything. Like she wouldn't miss nothing. She would just always show up. But she wasn't really going anywhere in the business until she decided that mind shift changed. So like a lot of times we show up to all these meetings and we go to every Zoom that we can and we're there to get the juice, but we're not implementing the juice. So if you're taking the notes and you're listening and you're here to get everything, but if you're not implementing it, then you're not going to go anywhere. Like she said, she showed up all the time, but nothing was happening. She was just showing up to be in the space. So come in the space, take the notes, but actually implementing it. I was talking to my business partner and she was like, she was telling me, girl, I got the juice. And I'm like, yeah, I heard that. But I want to stop saying, yeah, I heard that. I want to start saying, yeah, I heard that. I implemented it, and this is how it worked for me. So if you're hearing things and you're not implementing it, then that's the problem. And that's why we're in the funk that Rachel's talking about. How do I get y'all out of it? Is start doing the things that we're learning, not just showing up.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. All right. So one thing, and I will thank Rachel in advance for telling me to listen to the series by Michael Todd, Grace Like a Flood. So the couple of ones that I listened to today and I told God when I was praying in my journal today that if you can speak to me and tell me what I need to know today. And today, he told me to refocus. We sometimes, and I don't know if this is true for anybody else, but you can get so caught up in the distractions around you. Your mind is where it needs to be, because someone once told me, it was a mother at my church, God is your provider, and it's going to come a time where you're going to have to really believe that God is your provider. So that's all I had to say.
It's so good, and that's true. That's true. Go ahead, Joy. Can y'all hear? I'm gonna say I can't hear, but you never know with my computer. Joy, what's your? It's good to see y'all, man. Here, let's go ahead.
Okay, sorry. One thing I'm really struggling with, Rachel, is like not comparison, but thinking like, why would they want to join me? Because I like signed up 7 DTs last month, and like I tried to launch them and tried to get them going, and like and I missed out on all those fast starts. So I'm like, why would they want to go? Anyone want to join me? I'm not successful. They could just join someone else. So my problem is, it is a mindset, but like I'm stuck.
Oh my gosh. Are you giving me permission here?
Yeah, I need red. Go ahead. I know you love me. Just tell me how it is.
All right.
I feel the same way.
So, number one, that was like super duper negative. Like I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm just like, everything that came out of your mouth was like, it was so negative. Okay, this is how I told my team a while ago. If you beat yourself up, how in the world can you fight off anybody else? What you look like punching yourself in your face? Ain't that like, is that smart? Why would you beat yourself up? Why would you talk so negatively to yourself? Why? You know, so crazy. I was just thinking about this today. My site's name is I Love Me. And I haven't changed it since I started. It's illoveme.itworks.com. And I think it was just prophetic for myself. So I could really like love myself, like fall in love with myself. You need to fall in love with yourself and who God made you to be. Because high key right now, you super disrespectful. Like you are so disrespectful in so many different ways. You're disrespectful to who God made you to be. You're disrespectful to your own hard work. You're disrespectful to the fact that God decided to bless you with 7 DTs when there's people on here who would love 7 DTs. And then if you're already speaking negatively, that means 9 times out of 10 it was already in your brain. So you subconsciously were self-sabotaging. You could help them, but you think the cup is half empty. And so if the cup is half empty, how do you fill somebody else's cup? So you need to check yourself and tell yourself, like, we're not doing this. And I don't know who you're around that's speaking death to you, but you need to get away and find a bubble to where every day you hype yourself up. And every time you feel negatively in your mind, you shut it down. Every time you decide, you hear a thought that comes through your mind that starts to condemn, you shut it down. There's so many times. How many of y'all on here, when somebody give you a compliment, you find something negative and be like, well, but this, girl, yeah. Like somebody was like, oh, Rachel, your nails are long. I'd be like, oh yeah, girl, I need to get them done, don't I? Like, what? She said your nails were long. Like, she did not say you'll polish off your nails. Like, what are you talking about? Rachel, your hair is cute. Yesterday, I saw my goddaughter. She was like, Jules, your hair is so cute, the red. I was like, girl, do you see the roots? Like, these need to come down. Like, bro. I was like, Rachel, shut up. She said your hair was cute. My hair can be cute. Everybody wants to join me. On my worst day, I'm killing it. Like, I'm going to be the one that, since the Bible says that life and death is in the power of my tongue, I am always going to be the one to speak life even when I don't feel it. And when I don't feel it, that's the whole point of journaling. Because I'm going to journal it down and I'm not going to speak it into the atmosphere. When you speak things, there is power in your words. So you're right. Nobody wants to join you. Why? Because you said it. You said it. Before I say it, I'm gonna be like, listen, God, I don't know what we got to figure out, but I'm the best leader in the world. So you got to help me become that best leader. Now, I'm not saying I can't get better, but I'm definitely not going to say I'm worst leader and don't nobody want to join me and don't nobody. I'm not speaking that over my life. Absolutely not. So you got to stop beating yourself up. The world is going to beat you up. It's just what the world does. It's going to beat you up. But you can't be of the world. Why would you beat up yourself? Don't you? Like, you the one who got to live with you every day. You need to tell yourself you're beautiful even when you don't feel it. I bet you say it enough, you'll start to believe it. You think about a child and you think about like your business partners. Do you know that grown people or children, a lot of them are still children? Including myself. I got childish, but the Bible says you put your childish way behind, but a lot of people don't have the childish ways behind. Some people still have certain areas of their life where they have childish ways. And they can be 50. I've learned that one. I remember when I finally just started to see my mom as a person. Like, I'm gonna respect the mess out of her, but I started to see my mom as a person who once was a child, who went through life, and at the end of the day, as an adult, as I respect her as my mom, she still has life that's happened to her and stuff she's dealing with. Why I got her up on here on a pedestal like she got to be perfect? So when these people come into the business, you got to understand they got life going on. And if you believe that about yourself, what they believe about themselves? You got to, if you're a business partner, like you've been doing this. And you feel that way. So how do you think they feel? Instead of you waking up and saying, all my distributors get their loyal customers, their own loyal customers. All my distributors are eager to show up. So when you speak that into the atmosphere and then they hop on, you be like, oh, I spoke that. What's up, girl? Ooh, you're speaking.
You're right. No, you're right. And I haven't been journaling. I've been getting away from God in quarantine, which is dumb because I should be getting closer to God. So it's I can't blame anybody but myself, and I need to change it fast because I don't want to stay this way. My name's Joy for a reason. I need to live it out, and not let the enemy and myself keep messing with it, So thank you.
If y'all knew like how the enemy wants to take you out, and a lot of us are just giving in. A lot of us, if y'all could see my floor, I promise you I would like lay down on the floor right now. But a lot of y'all just be like, all right, devil, I'm here. Just come get me. I'm not even gonna fight you. Just punch me. 1, 2, 1, 2. Like, you just be like, just lay down. You just laying down. How do we fight? I mean, if you believe in Christ, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That was real ghetto, but I'm just saying, if we wrestle not against flesh and blood, then if you're not getting up journaling, if you're not having your Jesus time, if you're not reading your word, if you're not, if I know the negativity in my head is not good, guess what? I don't don't know how many times I've talked about this. This is why I'm constantly listening to positive stuff. If you guys haven't read the book, It Takes What It Takes, I finished that book this month. It was bomb. If you have not read that book, it talks about, what's his name? Russell West, what's his name? Russell. Sierra Boo, whatever his name is, okay? Yep, okay, whatever his name is. Anybody know? Okay, I thought y'all was gonna give it to me. But anyways, Russell, he was saying how he listens to, what's their name?
The Hillsong.
Yep, Hillsong all the time. So if he has his own personal workouts, like of course, you know, when he's with the team, he might not be able to pick. And this is why a lot of people, ding, 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 whoo! A lot of people do not work out with the team. Do y'all know a lot of the tip-top people do not work out with I mean, they go to their team workouts, but outside of the team workouts, they don't work out with the team. Because they got to keep this right. I remember when I heard Eric Thomas say that he don't go to the barbershop. Dude, they talk about the dumbest stuff in the barbershop. He said, my brain is too important to indulge that type of information. My life is worth too much to be thinking and talking about that stuff. I don't have time for that. So you have to be mindful of what you're consuming. My husband always asks me, like, you don't watch the news? Absolutely not, but you do, so you can tell me everything I need to know. Like, he be telling me about stuff I don't want to know. Okay, be like, listen, I don't watch the news on purpose. I have to be very mindful of what I allow to consume my mind, because I already, number one, yourself, I'm 32. A lot of y'all have a lot of negative experiences that have happened in your life. If you have not pulled up the roots, guess what they're doing? They could be subconsciously festering. Subconsciously. I remember, I don't know if y'all remember this, but I remember one time my mama said something to me and I got pissed. And I had stopped and I was like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, where did that come from? And I was like, that's a root. Why did that make you that mad? Somebody can say the smallest thing to you and you be ready to pop. That was me. They used to call me firecracker in college. They did. They called me firecracker. Because all you got to just look one way and I'm ready to bang. Okay? Y'all don't even understand. I was ready to go. What's up? I had issues. Y'all want to know why I need Jesus? Because I need him. I need Jesus. I'm crazy. Shut up, Robin. Yes. Yep. They called you ready, set, go. Because listen, I get it. So if you know, that's already a thing. So thank you for sharing that, Joy. That's awesome. It's so good to see you back on here. You got to get yourself together, though. Like, listen, you have to stay together. This is the brave, patient, consistent part. Let's talk about no days off real quick. We only got 20 minutes left. When you think no days off, it needs to be no days off from Jesus. I was listening to a sermon today and she was talking about how, like, God needs loyal people. And I think the problem is, and let's just be clear here, the problem is people think, I want to just check the misconstrued, how people got God messed up, okay? And it might be you, because some days I have God messed up too. I got him messed up. You will never be perfect. Never. Right? There you go, okay? You'll never be perfect. It's not a real thing. He's the only thing that's perfect. Period. So knowing that, and knowing that his grace is sufficient for you, and knowing that every day can be day one, why do you keep beating yourself up every time you get it wrong? This is like, y'all, it's so childish. It reminds me of my son. Like, every single time he would mess up on something, I remember when he first started cooking, I was like, if you don't get out of my kitchen, I was ready to knock him out. Because every time he did something wrong, it was like a temper tantrum. And I was like, what? Like, I cannot take this. Like, if you're not going to show yourself some grace to get it right and allow yourself to be a novice, you need to go. Like, you don't even need to be in this setting. So it's the same thing when it comes to your business. Are you allowing yourself to get it right? Who cares if you mess up? That ain't even a real thing. If you mess up a post, like, what does that even mean? Like, go back to my post 7 years ago. I just wanted some cash. So I didn't care what I had to say. I was going to say whatever I had to say in order to get you to run this 25 to rap. And then I was going to turn you into a loyal customer. Just ask Toya. Whatever I had to say. For real. Okay, don't ask Toya because that was non-compliant, but I did it. I was just starting a business. So when do you get to the point where you understand, like, do you believe God's word? Like he said that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. What does that even mean? Some of y'all need to go Google what fearfully means and write it down. And every day you may need to write down, I am whatever the definition of fearfully means. Without fear. I'm assuming that's word. I don't know. Maybe goes a little more in depth. You know, it reminds me of the song, speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. And at the end of the day, if you don't start speaking life over yourself, like you'll always be a quitter. That's what I was. Year and a half at a job, I'll be moving on. I was moving on, okay? Listen, you can't pay me enough. And it was like, bro, it was a job, so that's a thing. But when it came to this, it was like, no, it's you. It's you. Now, I'm not gonna say that there may not be things that are barriers. There are barriers, but at the end of the day, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so, if I believe that, I believe, and then it's even better because then I can say, well, Jesus, if it's gonna work, it's gonna have to be you that make it work. And so I'm gonna keep up, and I'm gonna give you the seeds. I'm gonna put myself in a position to win, and for you to elevate me. Right? I think about my brother. Yes, come on, Grace. Yep. You have to. You can't beat yourself up. Yep, that's so good. That's so good. But I think about my brother. My brother is a collegiate athlete. And he just texted me. I got to call him after this call because I told him I ain't heard from him. And I said, listen, quarantine to get you knocked out. I'm just playing. Well, no, I'm not playing. But I hadn't heard from my brother. And he's been calling me since he's been away at college, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, I've gotten back into my workouts. And he said, this is what he said. And y'all, this is not my brother. But because I have spoken to his life and he's actually taken the words. Here's the thing. Like Brittany said, I can speak into you all day. But you got to take the words and eat them. You have to eat the words. Because you have to, and this is the thing, my job is to consistently speak regardless of whether you eat them or not. And here's the thing. If you don't eat my words, that don't make them any less good. Okay? Just call me, I don't know, somebody who can cook. Okay? Call me the chef. I'm the cook. And I can cook, and you not liking my food don't mean I can't cook. And that's what you got to believe in terms of your mentorship. Just because the people you enroll don't want to eat does not mean you can't cook. You are the thermostat, not the thermometer. And I have to constantly, just like I remind y'all, I have to remind myself that too. No, that's you. That's not me. And that doesn't mean that I'm not here. That doesn't mean that I'm prideful or I can't be wrong. But this is where you pray for discernment. And if you don't know what that means, I highly suggest that you write it down right now, write down discernment, and you go do some research on what that means and just start praying for it. Pray for it. Pray for discernment. Y'all, that was my whole word for 2017. It was my word for the whole year, discernment. And godly, whoo, he started opening my eyes up to so many different things. And I was like, Jesus, like for real. It was crazy the way that I was able to discern. But let me tell you, I had to stop doing some things. I had to give up some things. It wasn't with no price. Now, we know God paid it all. Like Jesus paid it all when he went to the cross. But at the end of the day, that don't mean that you just can be out here doing whatever it is that you want to do and just have your cake and eat it too. That's not what this means. That's not what this is. So, we're not going to be our worst enemy. It's just not what we're going to do. We're not. And we have to not take it personal. And we have to realize when we do take it personal, because what we do is personal. Ooh, you can't take it personal because what we do is personal. And you always feel like, and let me just be clear, because this may help somebody be free today. You always feel like and this is crazy because this is what Shar said to me on Tuesday, which was crazy. We got put her on the spot. But when you give to somebody, your team's success, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, okay? Just let's be honest. Y'all know I'm going to be honest. Your team's success is a representation of your success, right? But if they're not successful, if you remain obedient and consistent, I can guarantee you God won't leave you out. I can guarantee you God will not leave you out. What happens is a lot of people get to the point where God is going to break the levee, where you're right there where you're going to break it, right there where you're going to hit the crystals, the gold, whatever, and you turn around and then you piss. But if you would have kept going and been brave, patient, and consistent, it would have all worked out for your good. And so even for me, I'm going to tell y'all this. I have been, and God willing, up to Jesus, it may continue. My prayer is that it does, Jesus. I've been a top income earner for almost 6 years with nobody in the top 150. And I give my butt off. I give on a high level. And some of y'all know this because why are you here? I opened this up to the entire, it works, so why are you here? But just because you give and people don't eat, or people are not consistent, or people are beating themselves up, or whatever. And what's so crazy is God to give you a wink. Because as you start to speak life, let's just say, like there's a few people on here who have said Brittany's name, right? And Brittany like, dang, I wish my team would eat that. Right? Some of y'all here who speak Keisha's name, and y'all be like, and Keisha like, dang, I wish my team would eat that. But that's just like your parents. Your parents got people who respect them more than you respect them. How many got some of them? Oh, my grandma, everybody call my grandma mama. And I'd be looking at her kids like, what's wrong with you? For real. So it's okay if you keep going, but the problem is you don't keep going and winning. You have to keep going and win. I had a conversation with Brittany about this a long time ago. Brittany, what you say? Brittany came into my house, y'all, right after I built my house. I built my house in 2017. Brittany came in, she was sitting in my basement with another lady, and she was like, dang, Rach, like, thank you for keep going. Because if you would have stopped and you wouldn't have this house, if you was waiting on us, I wouldn't have something to look forward to. And here she is now as a double diamond because I kept going when they decided that they wanted to lollipop. And whatever lollipop means. But if you ain't winning, you're just you are changing your temperature to match people who are unsuccessful. And let's be honest, how many things have you been successful in life? Most people, this is the most that they will ever win in life. They've quit probably most everything in life. Y'all ever tried out for a sports team and been like, nah, it ain't for me. I'm just going to be a bench rider. I'm just saying. Me, I was like, listen, I got to be the captain. And I'm teaching the dances. Everybody listening to me. If not, I'll beat you up though. I just made people cry. I didn't beat people up in high school. I just made them cry. That's so trifling. Like God has just really delivered me. Oh my Jesus. That's embarrassing. Okay. Who got something else? It's not even something to be proud about. What a friend we have in Jesus. You can do this. Like, you
But
can
yeah,
do this.
oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
But you know how you were saying like it's an emotional thing, but you got to make sure that you don't attach your emotions or don't be in your feelings. That's kind of like what I was hitting on earlier when I was talking about you and my leadership and you teaching me and groom, because I'm allowing her, like she said, she can say all she wants to say, but if you don't allow her to do it, it don't mean nothing. But I realized that when I'm coaching, like I still be in my feelings sometimes when I respond or like when I'm doing something. And it's because like I'll send her a screenshot and I'll say, well, how would you would have handled this? Or we'll take a call together and I'm sitting there and I'm watching her stay neutral minded. And I'm like, bruh, but you ain't just like, are we hearing the same thing? Because I'm over here in my feelings a little bit. And so just reflecting back and realizing that I still have to work on removing them feelings when it comes to coaching. And it's like, because it is relationships. It's relationships. And so that is what I'm working on, because, man, me getting or being or allowing my temperature to change, that actually changes my tone, which we're reading this boundaries book, and me changing my tone and being or just not having the correct one, it can make my team less productive. So it's just, yeah, them feelings and getting control over them when it comes to coaching, that is so important. And that's something that I am realizing as I pull her in and help and have her help me with my mentorship.
That's so good, Brittany. I want to say this. So this is something my pastor taught me, and it's something that I probably have struggled with more, but doing better with it now. When something hurts, like, it's okay to grieve it. Like, we're humans. At the end of the day, you're a human. And when you don't grieve it, you don't release it. So disappointment is a real thing. But the only reason that a lot of people have disappointment is because of the expectations. And sometimes it's like being a disappointed in a kid. Like, I'm sure when I got pregnant in high school, my mom was like really disappointed. But if she did not grieve it, how could she support me when I went off to college and still be excited instead of still holding on to the fact that I even had a baby? Like, bruh, that's over. Like, now I have a baby and I'm going to college, and you have to be able to be excited for the next step in my life. But you won't be if you didn't grieve when I got pregnant. Do you get what I'm saying? So when somebody is bogus, like, you have to, I'm not saying that people ain't bogus. They bogus. Like, some people are bogus. Like, and some things are so frustrating. And for me, I have to go pick up my journal, or Breon gets an earful. But it is frustrating. It's frustrating. But then it just reminds me that you don't put your trust in man, you put your trust in Jesus. And that doesn't mean that you get to treat them any differently. Here's the thing. You don't get to treat them any differently. But you tell Jesus. I remember I had a post a long time ago. I'm gonna go find it. I should post it tonight. I said, I'm telling Jesus. I remember that was back in 2016 when somebody heard me back then. And my pastor told me, people gonna try you till Jesus comes. And I was like, don't try me, try Jesus. And that was my flesh talking, because I'm like, you can try these hands. And that's when I started boxing. See, in 2016, I was like, don't try me, try Jesus. And then Breon and I, we found boxing, because clearly I needed help. I needed something. So thank you, Jesus, for boxing. For real. Because I was just angry inside. Like, I was frustrated. So many people let you down. You can bottle that up. And it can become dangerous and detrimental to you moving forward in life. And some people are angry, and just because your anger may not come out like me wanting to throw hands, your anger may be crying. Your anger may be isolation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be whatever it is. But you have to learn to start grieving it. and saying, God, that hurt. Like, that hurt my feelings. I remember when my pastor, I like saw her grieve something, and she was so hurt, but she just kept saying it. That hurts me so bad. And she just allowed herself to cry and let it out. And I was like, Jesus, I need to do that. And then she don't be caring about it no more. Like, she remember it. She ain't stupid, but she just like, okay, moving on. And I'm aware, and that doesn't mean I'm going to love you any less, but I will, you know what I'm saying? Like, wisdom. Because it does hurt. It hurts when you pour into people and they get back on the bus. But that's why you have to keep moving forward. That's why we do 6 and 3. It hurts when you done had a whole conversation with a loyal customer about the program, and they like, bruh, I didn't sign up for no program, and you like, gee, you signed yourself up. Yes, you did. Like, what are you talking about? It hurts. And that day you could be like, Jesus, why you send me these people? But I thank you because I got paid 20 cents. And I'm going to be grateful for my 20 cents. And then if you want to cancel, here go customer service number. You're going to pay $50 because you signed yourself up. Okay? I got the text messages. I'm just saying, you got to start grieving. And let every day be day one for everybody else. If his grace is sufficient for you, it's sufficient for them. And listen, everybody doesn't want to be a 1%er. I'm just going to be honest. And sometimes you have to check yourself. Do you even want to be a 1%er? Because if so, why do you keep allowing yourself? And here's the thing, that's a ding, ding, ding. Why do you keep allowing yourself to go on the same rat race? You're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. You're stronger than that. You are stronger than that. And that book is so good, Brittany, because it was talking about that one part, talking about like going into environments. Like if you're even in and that's hashtag your circle matters, but you knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like we know these things, but are you doing them? If you are a 1%er, like here's my question to you before we get off of here. Are you a 1%er? Have you decided, come on, Michael Phelps, like you can say you're a 1%er. When do you start speaking these things over yourself? And if you are a 1%er, every day you tell yourself you're a 1%er, well, what would a 1%er do today? A 1%er would sit down and send messages. A 1%er would be the thermostat, not the thermometer. And that's included in your household. A 1%er uses a calendar. A 1%er takes their products and doesn't have to be reminded. A 1%er, like a 1%er goes around their family and their family doesn't run them. A 1%er tells somebody no. That's the 1%er. So I think the first thing you do is you make up your mind. And then you stop making excuses for yourself. Like stop making excuses. And I'm not saying that you don't have a reason. Can we be honest, y'all? Everybody on here has a reason. Everybody. At any given moment, everybody on here has a reason. So that's that whole place of, you know, you can cry out like, God, I'm frustrated about today. I'm pissed. I've been sending messages and nobody's replying to me. And then it goes back to how did you start your day? Because if you're sending messages with that mindset, you're the energy, what we talked about this a long time ago. Give and it'll come back to you. Good measures, pressed down, shaken together. Okay, so if you are giving desperation, if you are giving frustration, if that's how you're starting your day, that's why none of your seeds are growing. And that's why if you get up and get your whole mind together, it's a whole nother thing. Yeah. All right. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to pray. Hopefully this was helpful. I know that, yeah. Helpful? Yes, no? Yeah. All right. It's gonna be great. It's the 16th. It's the 16th. Right now, Brian wanted me to ask y'all: Are you swimming? Are you drowning? Or are you on the diving board? Are you jumping back in? Are you swimming? Or are you drowning? And if you drowning, get out the water. Okay, listen, get out the water and go back to the diving board. Okay, jump back in when you're ready. Okay. But if you jump back in tonight, day one. Yes, girl, cry out. Cry out. That's what the Bible says. It tells you to do that. Not cry out to your bestie. Your bestie can't save you. Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Don't say, I wanna be saved. All right. Woo!
Hey, Rachel, I don't know if that was better or Susie.
All right, I'm praying. Help me, Lord. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we love you. I'm just so grateful for even this time and space to be, to have fun, because that's what this is all about. And so, God, today I'm just praying that you just broke some chains today and allow some people to experience some freedom that they didn't even know that existed. Help us get our power back. Help us to walk in the power that you've instilled in us, God. You've made us fearfully and wonderfully. And so help us to not knock ourselves down and be the people that you decided that we were from the day we were, even before we were born, right? So God, today I'm just praying that we walk in your power and your might as we go forth, God, that we speak life over ourselves every single day as we go forth, that we speak life over our businesses, over our marriages, over our kids, over our finances, over our promotions, over our teams, God, as we go forth. And so we just love you today. And we honor you for being our God and just putting us in a place to where we always know that every day can be day one and that your grace is sufficient for us. So we just love you and we adore you and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. I do want to tell you guys this though. If you guys